Good evening. If, with all those recent cup finals and internationals in mind, you were to think of The Silence of the Lambs as a football match, you'd have to say it was a game of two halves, Brian. The first half, wherein trainee FBI agent Jodie Foster tries to enlist the aid of the seriously psychopathic Anthony Hopkins, a.k.a. Hannibal the Cannibal Lecter, in tracking down a serial killer, is a tense and marvellously gripping psychological thriller.
You spook easily, Starling?
Not yet, sir.
See, the one we want most refuses to cooperate. I want you to go after him again today in the asylum.
Who's the subject?
The psychiatrist, Hannibal Lecter.
Hannibal the Cannibal.
I don't expect him to talk to you. But I have to be able to say we tried. So if he won't cooperate, I want just straight reporting. How's he look? How's his cell look? Is he sketching, drawing? If he is, what's he sketching? Here's a dossier on Lecter. Copy of our questionnaire and a special ID for you. Have your memo on my desk by 0800 Wednesday.
Okay. Excuse me, sir, but why the urgency? Lecter's been in prison for so many years now. Is there some connection between him and Buffalo Bill, maybe?
I wish there were. I want your full attention, Starling.
Yes, sir.
Be very careful with Hannibal Lecter. Dr. Chilton at the asylum will go over all the physical procedures used with him. Do not deviate from them for any reason whatsoever. And you're to tell him nothing personal, Starling. Believe me, you don't want Hannibal Lecter inside your head. Just do your job, but never forget what he is.
If you're wondering why Jodie Foster seemed to be oozing sweat there, it's nothing to do with fear. It's because she'd been yanked off a training run to go and see her boss, Scott Glenn. However, the second half of the film, in which Foster sets about finding said killer, Ted Levine, a.k.a. Buffalo Bill, is also tense and gripping, but much less marvellous, because by now, unfortunately, Hannibal the Cannibal has gone AWOL. In the end, The Silence of the Lambs is merely a very superior thriller, which, when you think of most of the thrillers around, is not all that mere, actually. But what made it a cinematic sensation in America, and may well do the same for it here, is the sheer class provided by an admirable performance from Foster and an astonishing one from Hopkins. Hannibal the Cannibal is himself one of the all-time great Hall of Fame serial killers, happily already in custody when the film starts. A man of giant intellect, courtesy and excellent manners, flawed only by a streak of unspeakable sadism and a tendency to eat the more tender parts of his victims, preferably with a good Chianti. It's the exchanges between him and Foster and the tortuous mind games he plays with her that give the first half of the film a dreadful fascination.
Oh, Agent Starling, you think you can dissect me with this blunt little tool?
No. I thought that your knowledge...
You're so ambitious, aren't you? Do you know what you look like to me with your good bag and your cheap shoes? You look like a rube. A well-scrubbed, hustling rube with a little taste. Good nutrition's given you some length of bone, but you're not more than one generation from poor white trash, are you, Agent Starling? And that accent you've tried so desperately to shed, pure West Virginia. What does your father do? Is he a coal miner? Does he stink of the land? You know how quickly the boys found you, all those tedious, sticky fumblings in the backseats of cars, while you could only dream of getting out, getting anywhere, getting all the way to the Applebee's pie.
You see a lot, Doctor? When are you strong enough to point that high-powered perception at yourself? What about it? Why don't you look at yourself and write down what you see? Maybe you're afraid to.
When Hannibal escapes both from jail and for a long period from the script, and Foster is left to hunt down Buffalo Bill, a would-be transsexual whose forte is killing and skinning young women, you do feel a sense of loss. Thereafter, there's plenty of good, creepy action, but the real drama is over. Hopkins' portrayal of deliberate evil, a man who makes Norman Bates look like a pussycat, should surely win him next year's Oscar for Best Supporting Actor, and Foster could be nominated too. Both are strongly aided by Jonathan Demme's direction and an excellent script by Ted Talley, who adapted Thomas Harris's novel. This is not, I must point out, a film for the squeamish, and the use of women, Foster apart, simply as victims, leaves an unpleasant taste. But that apart, and if you don't squeam easily, it should hook you from scene one. Incidentally, a few years back, Brian Cox played Hannibal Lecter in Manhunter, adapted from Harris's earlier novel Red Dragon. He was very good too, but comparisons are otherwise unfair because Manhunter was not such a good movie as The Silence of the Lambs, which, no doubt, will feature very soon in the list of the top 10 films in London.